Are you a dirty dry wiper? Don't be. Get yourself a snap-on bidet from HelloTushy.com. So easy to install, and you will be clean as a whistle. And we at the podcast Shooting the Shit are giving you 10% off with promo code HeyPoopy. That's HEYPOOPY for 10% off at HelloTushy.com. They have travel bidets, fancy spa bidets. They have all kinds of bidets. Check them out. 10% off. Hey, Poopy. Okay.
Hey, Poopy, how you doing? Hey, Poopy, how you doing?
I'm just, trying to find a place with like-minded people to talk about like-minded things about me, about poop and stuff.
Hey, Poopy, how you doing? Hey, Poopy, how you doing?
Oh man, what's this right here? Is this a podcast about poop?
And now, Shooting the Shit with Dave and Ellen.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, how's it going?
Welcome to Shooting the Shit with
Ellen
and Dave.
And this is episode 23, but it'll always be number 2 to us.
Always number 2.
And we have a special guest today, Miki from HelloTushy.com.
Yeah.
One of our favorite products that we probably talk to about on every episode.
And we use daily.
Yes.
Yes.
We are humongous fans, and like you're pretty much like our white whale. Like we, yeah.
Yes, this is really exciting for us. It's like rock star celebrity.
Yeah.
That's
This is
hilarious. That's
in our world,
In our
we
world.
are like blown away.
Completely.
Literally.
Yes.
Thank you for being here, though.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Thank you.
Seriously honored. Thank you.
Yay! But before we go into our theme, we will check in with everybody. We always check in with our guests first. So how have your poops been recently? I have a Bristol stool chart if you want to describe a number.
Yes. It's definitely in the it's combo of sometimes it's a smooth criminal and sometimes it's a lumpy fart.
She's saying between a 4 and a 6.
Between a 4 and a 6.
That's where I'm at usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I will say, there's my child who he probably has the Rancid River.
Oh.
Number 7.
Hi, hero. Hi, Mom. We're doing a little podcast.
Yeah, when we walked in, we asked him, "How have your poops been?" And he was like,
Here, can you say, hold on, let's do this on the thing.
Yeah.
Can you say poo poo?
Oh.
He's a true natural.
He's almost 2 years old, and he already knows what's
which
important.
Which poo-poo are you?
Which poo-poo do you do?
Oh, smooth
That one?
criminal.
Ooh, smooth criminal. Nice.
All day?
Oh my God, he's so cute.
Still in your diapers?
Yeah, still
Yeah.
shitting in his diaper. Marisol,
We all
can
start
you
out
take
that
him,
way.
please? My love, are you going for a walk? Balloon.
This is our youngest. My dad was the oldest guest, and now
This
we
is the
officially
youngest.
have the youngest guest.
Yes.
That might be the youngest podcast guest
Here,
ever.
can you
Yeah.
say bye poo poo?
But he picked Smooth Criminal.
Can you say
Bye,
bye
poo-poo.
poo poo?
Oh my God, that's so cute.
I love it.
Oh, he's adorable.
I
Bye.
say
Poops are important.
bye bye.
I mean, he's a healthy
You're
baby.
saying bye to you guys.
Oh, bye. He's very healthy. He picked 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. Oh, this is good. So actually, 4 is good.
Yeah.
4 is like
Here's
the
another
best.
one too. That's what like doctors, this is the Bristol stool chart, and doctors usually show people to see like how your poop's been recently. So if you're like really rabbit poops, like a number 1, then you should need more water in your diet,
Okay.
more fiber. And if you're number 7, it means something is upsetting your stomach.
Yeah.
Well, I will say that when I came back from Australia, I had like a porgy one for sure. It was a lot, because I just feel like the water there, the water here. I was on the plane for 24 hours.
Travel.
eating
Yeah,
just the
it's
travel.
really
so
messes
my
you up.
body just like is just like it's like rancid.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
really so yeah.
I'm
Plus,
with you.
diet is different over there.
All
and-
everything. So
Yeah.
it just my system was a little, and I'm still a little jet lagged as well.
man.
But
I've
yeah.
done that flight before. It's brutal.
It's
Yeah.
brutal,
It's really-
and with a 2-year-old.
Oh my
that's-
God.
I can't
Yeah,
imagine.
it was crazy.
I did that in New Zealand, like within like span of 2 months. And I
Wow.
thought I was gonna I thought it was like time traveling. You
I
leave
know,
like on
right?
a Sunday, you get there like Tuesday. Like what day
It's
is it?
no, we lost an entire day.
Yeah.
Left Wednesday, got there, landed on Friday.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
insane.
It's trippy.
Yeah.
But great country, but
yeah.
long flights.
Yeah.
Dave,
That's
how's your
good.
poops been recently?
It might have been okay. I would say between between a 3 and a 5. Although last night I made popcorn and I think that kind of like
Messed things
Five.
up.
Fiber.
I just I had to go.
It's like everything we eat matter. Like
Oh,
it's
completely.
really, it's like it changes. If I eat really clean, that if I eat like salad, if I
Yeah.
eat like really, then I have the smooth criminal. If I eat anything that's like junky, literally lumpy fart, rancid, river, smelly seaweed, like any one of those.
Totally.
You know?
Totally.
It's like junk in, junk out.
It's
I guess,
it.
pretty much.
Yeah.
But
wild.
mine kind of varies. It's been, but last night was pretty messed up with the popcorn. I love popcorn. I can't stop eating popcorn.
Oh, I
If
love
eat dairy
popcorn.
or something like that.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like
Oh, dairy's
freaking,
like,
it's bad,
yeah.
terrible.
Dairy like messes me up too.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
love it.
I, the other day, ate beets
Oh,
and 12 hours later had a beet
Purple.
poo.
Yeah. Mhm.
And it's always shocking because there's a
Yeah.
moment where you wipe and you're like, what the? Oh my God, I'm bleeding. And then
Yeah.
you're like, oh, wait, no, I ate beets.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
I'm surviving.
you're like, am I
But it's
dying?
crazy
What?
how it dyes
It's
it like that.
crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like. Yeah, I was. My wife got me into beet smoothies.
That must be somebody's fetish out there.
Yeah,
Beet
right?
Poop. Gotta be one person at least on planet Earth.
Someone's like, yes.
Asparagus pee and beet poops.
I know that's
Both. Yeah, that's just kind of gross.
Yeah.
I love asparagus too.
But I also went to the beach the other day because it's finally nice weather out, and I had to just pee, but the ocean was just like way too cold to go in and pee.
Yeah.
So I was like waiting in this really long line for the public bathroom, and I finally got, and there was many stalls, and this lady came out of the stall and she goes, "There's toilet paper in there, but that's not gonna flush." And I was like, "Nope, I can't poo in a toilet that's not going to flush because with a huge line they are all going to know that was me."
yeah.
They're gonna come after
So
you.
I like just grabbed a ton of toilet paper from there and went into the stall that didn't have toilet paper and was like, maybe I'll just pee. And I was like, nope, I gotta, and I was so glad I grabbed the largest lump of toilet paper. But
If you would have had your travel tushy,
I know, I did
Would
not
have
think
changed
about
your life.
bringing my
Well,
travel tushy to the
she
beach.
just got hers.
Yeah, I literally
Yeah.
just got
And
mine.
she's
Have you used it yet?
I only tried it out to like as soon as I unpacked it, I
And?
was like, this
It's
is great,
right?
Yeah,
Ugh.
It's so
I
small.
yeah,
And it's small, compact.
Yeah.
Great idea.
it's like the size
collapsible.
of a baseball.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's amazing. My boyfriend, though, I washed it out and put it not in the dish drainer, but kind of near the dishes. And he got so angry at me. He goes, "You cannot put this thing near stuff we eat." And I wanted to be like, dude, you've licked my asshole.
Right.
Really? And you're worried about the travel tushy?
But not next to the dishes, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. But I was
Also, like you're just. I mean, she sent me the video when she first got it, and I was like, I didn't have my glasses on. I'm like, why is she showing me this new water bottle? Like, I'm like, okay. I'm like, it's a cool water bottle. It's like, no, it's the travel tushy. I'm like, oh shit.
Yeah,
That's pretty ingenious.
and it's different because it's got like the 3 holes. So it was really like engineered to have the right amount of water come out. It's not like a water bottle that just has like a little spout and you just drink out of it. This has a specific nozzle.
well, and the nozzle is angled
It's
in the
angled,
right area.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you open it, it kind of opens further than 90 degrees.
Yes.
It opens further so that when you're spraying yourself, it's the right angle. So it was
Yeah.
very, and also, I mean, it took us a year to develop,
I
which
was
is
going to
like,
ask you. That's yeah.
it was such a pain in the butt products. We're like, how hard could a collapsible water
It's
bottle
the
be?
opposite of a pain in the butt. though.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure for my butt.
Now-
It was so, and but because the collapsibility part to make sure that when you squeeze, there's enough pressure.
Yeah.
It's all these things you had to consider, these considerations
Yeah.
that you didn't otherwise think of until you were using the product. You're
Yes.
like, oh, I wouldn't use this, or oh yes, finally we got a product that I would use.
Yes. Well, I just wanted to introduce Miki from HelloTushy.com, and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came up with the Tushy.
Amazing. Yes. Well, so I'm half Japanese, half Indian.
Oh, amazing.
So my mother's from Japan, my father's from India, and both cultures grew up with bidets,
Oh, yes.
right? So the Japanese culture have the fancy toilets that
Oh,
whistle
yeah.
at you and say
Yeah.
hello and
Oh my God.
warm the
I want one of
seats and
those.
I know, one day.
Yeah,
you know,
the
one
dream.
day. Yeah. But those things cost thousands of dollars plus plumbing, plus electrical. And most, young, like millennials or younger, are renters. So no one's going to go and replace their toilet with plumbing and electrical for thousands of dollars
Yeah.
and then have to leave it maybe a year or two later. So it's just not an option. And then on the Indian side, my Indian father grew up with the bum gun. It was called the lota. So it was like this spray hose that you just hose yourself down with, and it's just always such a like woo experience. But it's not a very, to me, it's not the cleanest of experiences
Right.
because it's still pretty like unprecise and
It almost
just
looks
a
like
spray
there's
gun. It's a hose.
extensions from a sink.
That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just
I've
a
seen that in
sink
like
extension.
Thailand and Jamaica
Yeah.
and like other countries.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I've always known about bidets and I've always been obsessed with them. And like about 7 years ago, my husband for Valentine's Day got me this Chinese like bidet contraption. And I was like, what is this contraption? And it was a version of the attachable bidet. And I was like, oh my God, like how do we not know about this thing? And it's so ugly.
Yeah.
But I put it on my toilet and I was like, okay, this thing is like changed my life. And so I was like, I'm going to create the most beautiful, the most designer, the most modern bidet that clips onto your existing toilet and turns any toilet into a bidet in less than 10 minutes flat. And the biggest hurdle that I learned that we have to climb over wasn't necessarily buying a product, but it was getting over the fact that for the last maybe 3 or 4 generations, toilet paper was introduced to our great grandparents in the late 1800s. And so we've been so deeply indoctrinated to believe that this dry paper properly cleans us. The Scotts brothers and the Sharman brothers are the ones who, these families are the ones who popularized, who invented it really and brought it to America and really made it this thing where they were just like, what do humans do all the time? Poop. And what can we create marketing around and just sell people over and over again? Toilet paper. They created this thing and they didn't take into consideration the fact that they're cutting down 15 million trees per year to make toilet paper. In fact, the Canadian boreal forest, which is known to be the Amazon of North America, is being decimated and just flushed down the toilet. It is not a sustainable thing. I have a new baby and it's just like anyone who wants the next generation, the generation after that to actually survive, we need, life-giving oxygen to do that. And if we're just taking them, cutting them down and flushing them down the toilet, it's not sustainable. Yeah. The second thing is from a health and hygiene perspective, when you think about dry paper, you would never like jump in your shower, not turn the water on and just use dry paper to like wipe down your dirtiest bits and be like, I'm clean. People would be like, you're insane.
No, if you step in poo outside,
yes,
you don't just take dry paper to wipe it off.
That's
like,
right. Or
done.
a bird pooped in your face.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be like, okay, I just wipe my face, I'm good. Or I even talk about going to your dishes. Like you just cut up a raw chicken in your dish sink.
Would never
just take dry paper and just smear around the sort of like the salmonella on because that's really in our stool is E. coli, salmonella, all this like bacteria and infection that's worse than a raw chicken, and yet we're like, it's as though we're taking that raw chicken salmonella and putting our dish away as if it's no big deal.
Yeah, no, completely.
And yet instead what we're doing is we're taking this dry paper, we're smearing around up there, we're wiping it as hard as we can, making it irritated, and then sitting on fecal matter all day long, which promotes infection, disease, etc., killing trees, hurting our pocketbook by buying toilet paper every single month. It's just like when you realize that, oh my God, I can literally spend $69 on a simple bidet that attaches to a toilet, makes me look cool, makes me look like I'm clean. It's a signal to the people that I'm clean. It's an aspirational thing, but only for $69. and I get to save my money, save my health, and save the planet. Like, dude, like this is a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer.
And thanks to Tushy, we have a promo code, Hey Poopy, for 10% off that $69.
Yes,
So
well,
use
there
that
you
promo code.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And that's exactly it. Just like it's such a no-brainer, and yet culturally Americans have still this big sort of wall against it, and there's a very real reasons why. So one of the first reasons why Americans have not adopted the bidet is because a French person invented it, and English being Americans being you know, from England mostly and came here, we still hated the fact that a French person invented it. First thing. Second reason is during World War II, when American soldiers went to Europe and fought in World War II, they scattered around, the American soldiers. They would go to southern Italy and discovered pizza, this poor man's food, where they would these poor men in Italy would take this bread, they would flatten it and use it to test the temperature of ovens. And instead of taking this flatbread and throwing the garbage, they basically put sauce and cheese on it and turned it into this poor man's food that eventually became this like thing that people went and sought after, including the American soldiers. So when American soldiers came back to America, Domino's, Pizza Hut, all these big chains took off because it was imported back from Europe. Now, bidets, on the other hand, when American soldiers went to Europe and they fought in World War II, they would see bidets in French brothels because they would go to French brothels and they would see them in these sexual contexts. And when they came back to puritanical America, they were like, we were never in brothels. We think bidets are sexual and bad for puritanical American mindset. We think it's terrible. And so it really was married to this over sexualization of something that was ubiquitous all over Europe at the time, especially in France. But because the French soldiers saw it in brothels, they made that association and basically shunned it and stigmatized it. And so that is really one of the main cultural reasons why Americans have adopted the bidet. It's wild when you actually
crazy.
understand
I mean,
it.
it's so stupid too. I mean,
It's so stupid.
Oh, it makes so much sense.
Well, I mean, it makes
also
sense, like,
because of all
we're-
ridiculous patriarchy.
in this
and
country.
the puritanical, the patriarchy,
Yeah.
all the things that were used to keep women down, to keep everyone down, is to use sex as a chokehold, as a
Yes,
sort of a
completely.
political move. Yeah.
It's just I mean, but I just can't even imagine like now not having that in my life. I mean, it just, my wife came home, I bought it, installed it again, like 10 minutes. I didn't install the hot water attachment only because our hot water system is so messed up, and like every time
That's
turn
okay. I
it
only
off-
have the cool water one too.
But honestly, I like the cold
I
water.
like it's a nice refreshing.
Thank you.
Cool.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like it's.
But you're not like soaking in it.
Yeah.
No.
It's a quick
And it's
squirt.
a quick squirt, but I mean-
it's okay with the cold
Precise.
water.
It's a precise stream.
It's very precision like, and what I love about it is just the fact that you get so much cleaner. You use way less TP. You
Right.
save on that. So even for using it, or just
80% less is actually
like-
the statistic. You're using
wow.
80% less toilet paper.
there you go. See,
And we always talk about how certain toilet papers is just flushing your money down the toilet. So
Yeah.
80% less means you're saving 80% more money.
a bunch of money.
And
Yeah.
the average American uses 57 sheets of toilet paper per day.
Oh my God.
Which is
Wow.
a gigantic pile.
That's
Did
huge.
you also know that a single roll of toilet paper requires 37 gallons of water to make one single roll of toilet paper? So people are like, well, what about the water thing? Like, what about the water shortages in LA? Like, we're like, actually, net, you're saving 55 gallons of water by using water to properly clean
Right.
you.
But it's
not to
not-
mention
it's-
minus the trees, minus the processing, minus the bleach, minus all the
But the
things.
squirt I'm doing with my Tushy
Is so
is
fast.
maybe
I was gonna
what,
say, it's-
2-3 ounces
Yeah,
of water?
it's like
it's nothing.
Yeah,
It's
max
nothing.
a pint.
Yeah.
A max a
No
pint.
pun.
Yeah.
It's a drop in the bucket compared
Yeah.
to like.
Yes, pun
Not
intended.
gallons.
But I think the people that are just uninformed about bidets, I think that the issue too is like they just think they're like turning on a faucet as you would like if you're washing your face off or something, washing your hands. It's like, no, it's not like that at all. It's like
Exactly.
and it gets you so much cleaner.
Yeah, it's just that cultural hurdle, and I
Yeah.
think that from a creative perspective, it makes it really fun challenge, right? So
Yeah.
like we have to now figure out what is the way that's going to break someone free of their deep indoctrination that spans generations. And so for us, we use humor in the same way you guys talk about poop with humor. us too. Like if you go to HelloTushy.com and you actually
I love your
read-
ads.
Yeah,
it's
Your
adorable.
ads,
all the things, the
Instagram feed.
videos.
Yeah.
It's just like it's like a combination of aspirational and irreverent.
Yes.
And so for us, it's like we're still, it's like, it's poop. Like we're not being like, we're not taking ourselves so seriously because it is poop. You can't.
Yeah, it's like you have to. I mean, and that's one of the things, everybody does it. So
That's
it's just
right.
like we all know like what's going on in there. It's not like
Yeah.
a secret.
But there's also an aspirational element where our images and our aesthetic is really beautiful. That makes you feel like, oh, like
No, it's very clean.
Like
Exactly.
I do feel like, oh, this is an upgrade. Like I'm paying $69, which doesn't seem like a lot for really what is an upgrade to my life and to my experience. And it looks that way, but it does. It's sort of like toes that line between funny, irreverent, and aspirational. And so I think that's a really good sort of way in to get people to start looking at it, talking about it. I also have a really sort of like tried and true thesis around what is sort of like the 3-pronged aspects that are required to shift culture. Do you guys want to know what they are?
Yes, please.
Okay, great. So the first thing is about
Maybe we can learn on how to get people to listen to the podcast more.
great. Well, that's done. Easy. The first is to have a best-in-class one-of-one invention, a best-in-class product. Like it isn't even an invention, but just a product that really is one-of-one. This podcast is a one-of-one podcast, right? You talk about poop. You talk about things that are different. You talk about, you really educate people on things that people feel like they haven't been given the permission to talk about for a really long time, right? So a one-of-one product, really important. Second prong is it has to have considered design across every touch point of your brand. So really, really consider what the aesthetic is, because that aesthetic is what's going to equal. Will someone lean into something taboo like this, or will they be like, ew, it's talking about poop, I can't even, versus like, oh my God, that's so beautiful. And that's so artful. Oh wow, they're talking about poop. But my first thought was beautiful. And therefore my heart just opened it up a little bit to the conversation because I just said it was beautiful first. So it's kind of like psychologically, when you look at something that's beautiful, it does open yourself up a little bit more to having the conversation around something that's considered taboo.
Yes.
And then the third thing is, instead of talking about something that with a little bit too technical, too academic, too clinical, too medical about something, like you guys are definitely not any of those things. You make it, it's really about accessible. Is it accessible and is it relatable, which you guys absolutely have. And it's like, is it accessible, relatable language? And so the way we talk about our product, that is, what is a bidet? How do you even spell it? Water spray everywhere. Is it poopy water from the tank or the bowl? No, it's not any of those things. It pulls from the wall, the same water you brush your teeth with. It's a precise spray right to your bottom. Poop doesn't spray everywhere. It pulls water down. Like all these questions. But the way we talk about it is like we're texting our best girlfriend. Like how would you, instead of being so technical or highbrow or like poo-poo about it, like, some people talk about chocolate and wine, like the notes in the back, and you just roll your eyes. And you're like,
yes.
okay, all right. You're fucking like posh. I get it. And it's annoying versus like, just like being real about something and being just talking to your best friend. Like you wouldn't put on a front, or talking to your sister or sibling. You wouldn't put on a, the woody elements of the blah, blah, blah. You would just be like, yeah, that tastes like pretty good. You know, like grape juice. I loved it. And so it's kind of like that, right? Like, so I think the accessible, relatable language, texting your best friend, it's the beautiful aesthetic, the considered aesthetic, and it doesn't have to necessarily be beautiful, but it's considered. Like this guy, I just watched this video of this guy named Adam JK online, and he has this really quirky thing about perfect isn't always the best. Like something that's super gorgeous isn't always the best. Something
Because it's not attainable.
the most shareable memes are often like the ugly like Comic Sans font, and you're like, but then you're like, oh, okay, but it was shared like 5 billion times.
Yeah.
So there must be something around that really stuck a chord with people. And I think ultimately it's about big truth. It's about being honest. It's about being real. It's about being like really just authentically who you are.
Yeah.
And so really authentic, considered design. When I say considered, it's really just authentic to you. Like, is it considered to you? the right accessible language, and then the best one-of-one product. And I think if you really hit all three together simultaneously with the right timing, you can absolutely blow up and shift culture and move the conversation forward.
Well, we talk about the reason why we do this podcast is because everybody eats food, and what do you do after you eat? You have to poop. So everybody poops. So it's okay to talk about it. And then we also have guests on who tell us about when they've pooped their pants. And we started our second episode with our accident stories because I was like, I'm going to tell you the story of when I pooped my pants in public because I want other people to come on and talk about it and feel comfortable because we've all done it.
I think it's like, you want something that people can, accessibility, but also like, oh, that's happened to me. And
absolutely. I mean, I have a really good story.
Oh,
we love pants.
we love good stories.
This is the place for it.
Well, I mean, it's actually my identical twin sister pooped her. Well, didn't even poop her pants. She projectile poop. Okay, I'll tell you the story. So basically, this is like maybe like 14 years ago, and we were standing on, I think it was like this Hoyt Skimmerhorn like subway stop on the G train.
Okay.
And we had just come from dinner and we were going out, and my sister just got one of those moments where she was like,
you're
food
fine,
poisoning.
and then you get the hot sweats,
exactly,
the cold sweats,
and then in like an instant, it just came on, and she was like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god!" And I'm like, "What? What?" And she's like, "I have to shit. What am I gonna do?" And I was like, "Oh my god!" She's like, "Oh," and she's like, it just came on so suddenly, and I was like, "Can you?" And it was like one of those subway, so it's a subway platform where you walk up the stairs. There's that like. There's like that overpass thing that can get to the other side of the platform. So you go downtown, uptown, right? Mm-hmm. And so we had to somehow, because like we had to get home. So we were off like the Hoyt Skimmerhorn was like the A train. We were waiting for the A train, but we had to then go back home because she couldn't go. She had to go home.
You were not going out.
But so we were like, I was like, can you make it to the other side to jump on the train to go home? And she's like, I don't think so. And I was like, can you make it up the stairs and just like hold it and like breathe and then walk and then breathe? And she was like, and so she like clenched her cheeks like up the stairs, but then at the very top of the staircase couldn't hold it anymore. And she's like, pull my pants down. So I pulled her pants down, and I pulled her pants to the side so she wouldn't shit everywhere. And I basically pulled her pants, and she projectile shit out of her butt like a cow patch of shit at the very top of the stairs of the subway platform. And it was so crazy because in that moment nobody was there.
God bless.
Oh yeah,
it was just one of those moments. And then all of a sudden police started coming towards us. And I was like 50. And then I was like, pull your pants up. And then she was like, and she was crying. I was like, pull your pants up. And so she pulled her pants up, and I was like, and we ran across to the other side so we can go home. And then we were just like, oh my God, we left the shit like at the top, feeling so bad. And then the cops came, and they're like, oh no, another like homeless person took a shit. We were like, we just felt so bad. And then we get on the train to go home. Finally the subway came, and she like smelled like shit, and she was just like she was just like crying.
That's the
like
worst.
Hugging the walls of the train car. But that's the poop story.
Wow, that's a great one.
Yeah.
Number one, you're the best sister ever. You totally were there for her. No, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
Number two, she whoopie pied herself. We just learned that term when you don't have your tushy and the poo goes between your butt cheeks.
Yes, she did.
But one of our main questions on the podcast is if you really have to go and it's a Bristol 7, it's coming out, do you pants or floor it? And it sounds like she floored it, which we are very proud of.
You're a pretty amazing person.
Yes.
I mean, that's just like, that's love.
Yeah,
because
that is.
I mean, I was like, please don't have.
Well, yeah.
I'm sure sprayed on. I mean, like,
You know, but it's your sister. You
I know,
can't just
we
leave her
do.
hanging like that.
And if you're identical twins,
we were in the womb shitting
Yeah.
on each other.
Exactly.
I mean, by shit on my
You guys have a
face.
different kind of. You guys have a different kind of bond.
Yeah. It was pretty wild.
But that's
though.
amazing story.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank
I'm just
you.
picturing her like going up the stairs and like each step is just like, oh my god, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. And then
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was sorry, Rada.
oh, that's
Yeah.
well. I mean, again, you're an amazing person because
Yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
lot of people would not do that. So
That's love. We've talked about that a couple times. That we had one guest on, and he was like, if your significant other was wasted and they pooped their pants, do you help them? And I was like, yeah, of course you help them, because that's what real
Yeah.
love is about. Love isn't romance. Love is helping the person
Exactly.
when they
Take a
need you the
shit.
most.
when you're seeing them in their worst,
Yeah.
like that's love.
That's true
'Cause
love.
If you could stick around for that, then nothing else really
Yeah.
will phase
I was
you.
like, but if they're shit faced and do that, then we need to talk the next day about maybe AA.
Right.
Oh, yeah, there's a
Which is
conversation.
no harm.
Yeah.
No harm in that.
There's a
Yeah.
conversation after that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like we need to exchange words.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Do you know what I did with you last night?
Oh
Do
my
you
God.
remember?
It's like, well, let me tell you.
Likely the answer is no.
Yeah, here's a photo.
Yeah. Here's the photo. Now
Yeah.
we have that evidence.
Give a starting point.
Well, I always talk on the podcast when we interview people. We're like, what kind of things do you use to help you potty? Like everything from sprays, matches. And when people tell us they just dry wipe, I'm like, oh, it's like an insult. If you're a dry wiper, I'm like, do you know what you're doing to that poor butthole of yours?
No, literally, like when I go to the bathroom that's in a not at my home or pre travel tushy, I would be that person who would probably use 75 sheets of toilet paper.
Yeah.
But I would go in, it was such a process. I would go into the stall. I would take 2 gigantic wads of toilet paper. I would go out of the stall to the sink, wet the 2 wads, bring these 2 dripping wads into the stall. Then I would take one of the dripping wads, put them on top of the other dripping wads, and with one dripping hand, take some more toilet paper out of the thing, put it on top of the
Build the nest.
the roll
Yeah.
thing, like the holder, because there's definitely dust and dirt,
Oh,
poop,
yeah.
and shit all over that. And so I put more toilet paper there, and then take my 2 wet wads and stick them on top, and then like do the whole like hover thing. Of course, I'm not touching anything. And then I like poop, and then there's like poop like plop. I just like it's the whole thing. They take the first I take a little bit of dry paper and I kind of like pat it, and then I take the first wet wad, and then I like try and like smear it, but then by then it's disintegrating on top of the thing already.
Oh my God.
And then I like take more dry paper and then dry, and then take the second wad and then wet it again. I take more dry paper, dry it, and by then it's like all this wet. And it's just
Yeah.
like
A mess.
It's just it's like a disaster.
Yeah.
But it's still cleaner than just using dry paper.
Yeah.
And so now with my travel tushy, I'm like literally. It's like for the first time, it's like, you know, when you go to a restaurant and you're given like a white linen and you like want to just go like this to the sides of your mouth with it.
Yes.
And you're just like, oh, that was, you know, really delicious. Thank you very much. Lovely. Like, and I feel like it's like that like linen thing on the side of my mouth. Like it's so precise and it's so clean and there's just nothing left but just exactly what you need. You should feel so posh, and that's it. Like,
Yeah.
so it's game changing.
Yes. Oh, we
Yeah.
say that. We say it all the
Yeah,
time. The
it
tushy is a
is.
game changer.
It's
And because of the podcast, we've had friends text us because you guys talk about it so much. I had to buy a tushy, and whoa,
Yes.
this has changed my life.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I know.
Yes.
It really, because like now it's like anytime I go somewhere, if I just go to the bathroom, especially if I'm in public, which is always a nightmare. But it's just I'll do my business, and then you're just sitting there, and I'm like, oh my god, there's no like I got to use regular toilet paper now. I get so snooty. I'm like, excuse me, I think you guys can afford to get a little Snap-on bidet.
Right?
Here. I mean, it's like how hard could that be? I mean, it's like so easy.
Yeah, and then also there's like the office ones where you can't really put a tushy in the office ones because they have those like this flushometer
Oh,
toilet.
Yeah.
We actually had a guest on a couple episodes ago, and he was like, I really want to buy the tushy, but he has one of those kind of toilets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we're
And-
working on that. We're
Oh,
working
cool.
on
That's
we're working on
awesome.
a
That's good to know.
solution.
Yeah. We said we'd ask you, like, he was like, I don't know how to hook it up because the pipe goes, there's no tank.
There's no tank.
Yeah.
So we're working on a solution of like
Yeah.
Oh,
creating-
excellent. That's
That's
great.
awesome.
Yeah. But it would involve like, you know, if there's not, if you can't access a sink nearby, then you would have to just like simply like fill it with warm water and then it's not a big
Right.
deal.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. But it's
Yeah.
still like,
Well, that's easy. People
it's
do-
so
you know,
easy to
build your own tank.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you build your own tank.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's great.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good to know.
Yeah,
that's brilliant.
So
See,
stay
genius.
tuned.
I can't wait. I love all these like.
We have baby bidet products. Like, wait till you're not even gonna believe.
Well, I
it.
can't wait to get my travel bidet. I mean,
Yes.
Ellen's going to do a full report when she comes back from Vegas.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, yeah.
And I know for a fact my boyfriend's going to end up using it
Of
towards
course
the
he
end
is.
of. We're 6 nights in Vegas. He's going to like his butthole's going to fall
He's-
apart.
He
Yeah,
was
if he
talking
does it.
so much shit when you got that. He was talking
he was
so much shit.
so
when you got the
angry
bidet.
at me when I installed it. He was like, "What is this shit?" And then finally he was like, "Oh my god, I can't believe." And when we first started dating, he was a dry wiper, and I introduced him to baby wipes, and I was like, "Honey, you got to go." And I buy 7th generation because I
Yeah.
don't want those like
Well, there's the
chlorine.
water wipes, which are the best ones.
The water wipes?
It's called water wipes, 99.99, but they still clog the toilets.
No, and I
Yeah.
throw it away.
You
And I before I knew I was flushing it, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm an asshole." So now I throw it in the garbage.
Yeah.
But then since I got the Tushy, I've had it for like 6 months now. I'm like, oh, like our baby wipes are only used for like animal accidents or
Right.
sexy time or
Right.
whatever, you know.
I just went
but
for travel.
yeah,
Yeah.
That's the only time, we use that.
That's it.
It's just
That's
kind of
it.
like
but now
a-
you have the travel bidet.
yeah.
Oh, now the travel bidet.
So
yes,
no more
exactly. So
environmental
it's gonna be
destruction. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, even just so you know, even the baby wipes that say biodegradable, it takes 10 years to biodegrade.
That's crazy.
They're lying.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. It's
Well,
not
the whole
real.
thing too. They're like, it's flushable. It's like, not really.
No.
not at all.
Flushable in 10, 20 years. Okay,
Oh my
you're
God.
like,
Yeah.
yeah. That's
Yeah, and
not-
I learned on a different podcast that the average human shits in their lifetime the weight of 3 hippopotamuses, which ends up being 9,000 pounds of shit in a lifetime. And we live in New York City where people are on top of each other. So in an apartment building
Oh
where
my
you have
God. I know.
anywhere from 10 to 50 people, the pounds of shit just moving through that one building.
Oh.
It's like,
I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
that's why I want to interview somebody from the sewage treatment plant. Like
Yeah.
I feel
I
like
might know someone at
Ooh.
the Department of Sanitation.
Ooh.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
that's our next one. We want to do like a little sort of like out in the field,
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
field recording, and
Yeah.
also just talk to people about it because it's really fascinating. Just the amount of stuff that goes on with just pooping, and the amount of stuff that people like throw down.
It's crazy.
You
The
know,
toilet. No,
it's just
we've had
crazy.
a pipe clogging in my restaurant from someone who upstairs who threw a baby diaper in the
that's-
toilet.
I mean,
Like, I don't even understand
Yeah.
that. I can't even comprehend that.
me either. That's just like
They're literally the guy like fished out baby
Oh my
diapers
God.
from the freaking like
That-
from the pipes.
what would make you even think that that's like acceptable?
Because
It's-
people are that dumb. They're just like poo,
People-
toilet
Yeah.
equals toilet. Like,
Yeah.
no, diapers don't biodegrade.
It's,
Like,
so,
they're-
it's just oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like, how's that big thing gonna fit through that hole? I mean, whatever. People are crazy.
It's so crazy. Yeah.
Woo.
It's
are
interesting
nuts.
how still like even like just in Australia, which is why I'm like pretty jet lagged. Like Australia's right next to Japan, and they have not adopted the bidet yet. And you're just like, all right, like it's gonna take a minute for sure.
Yeah,
but
I think once people kind of come around, it's hopefully
yeah, I
one
mean
of those
we've
things
we've definitely doubled and tripled our business like year over year, which is a good sign.
Yeah, when did the Tushy first start?
In 2015 quietly,
Uh-huh.
but then 2016 we had our sort of real
So like
launch.
3 years.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
that's brilliant.
Yeah,
That's
it was-
great.
He only introduced it to me. Dave introduced me 6 months ago.
Yeah, it's only. I mean, the first two were just very, very quiet. So like
Yeah.
20, it's like 2016, 2017. We're still like building. 2018 was we brought a CEO in. We really like
nice.
built our team out. We raised some money, and so like 2018, now 2019. Like these are the last 2.5 years have been
That's
like
brilliant.
really scaling.
Yeah, we got ours basically. I think right after that Ink story was about
Yeah.
to come out. And
Yeah.
I just went online that day. And I was like, great.
Amazing. Yes.
And it came, and I'm like, wow, this is. I don't know. Again, I can't say enough good things about it, only because it's so simple to install, and then once you have it, it's just part. You can take it with you.
That's right.
If you move out, you can take it
That's
with
right.
you. If
Yeah.
you're renting, whatever, it's really
Well, I live in a building that's 100 years old, and our toilet probably is from the 70s. And I've changed the seat out because I didn't want whoever was sitting on it before me. But my super had to come over because it's so old to
Oh my God.
switch it out for me and install it. And it took him. He's a plumber, and like that's his real job. And then he
Yeah.
does stuff around the building.
But it wasn't the tushy. It was just like the actual
No.
plumbing
Yes.
of
Yeah,
the
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
always, it's never the. It's always like, oh, it's got a hard pipe, or
Yeah.
it's got like rusted like
Yes.
screws, or like those kinds of issues.
But
that we've
it was
run
so
into for-
funny because he's a plumber who's also the super of the building, and he started laughing at me and shamed me for my tushy because he has the Toto toilet.
Oh.
And I go, I don't have thousands of dollars. He goes, you can save your money for that. And I go, I don't need to save my money. I have this thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, guy.
Also,
yeah,
it's the
guy.
Remember I told
Yeah.
you, Dave, he tushy shamed
I
me.
That is so hashtag good. That's a hashtag.
And I was like
right.
yelling at him. I was like, stop it.
He-
Just let me
just
wash my
That's
butthole.
So good.
He was giving me so much shit about that, and I'm like, why do you have whatever how many thousands of dollars that thing costs in your apartment? You can't just be like, we'll just
All
take
right,
this up
yeah.
and put it back
But
in my car. I mean, like,
he is a plumber, so he
Still-
knows how to do it. But
Yeah.
understandable, but still, it seems like a giant cost for something.
But he was like
you know.
literally laughing in my
No,
face.
but it's like for some people, and when you really go bidet, you really understand. You're like, it's like it's like I do it twice a day.
Yeah.
You oftentimes don't even get in your car more than once a day, or I mean, probably twice a day because you get there and back. But like, as in, like, you know, there's something that you do seldom, every day, twice, maybe 3 times a day. Like, it's like you do have to start to like prioritize where you're going to spend your money. Like, you spend your money on an expensive laptop because you use it every day. You spend your money on expensive, you know, your phone because you use it a lot. Like, what are the things that you use a lot in your life, and you'll probably spend more on those things? The toilet is one of them. And so it's true. Like, yeah, you know, we're like, we understand why, you know, the Toto kind of toilet is completely inaccessible to the masses, and how it's not a disruptive innovation until it's affordable to the masses. I talk about disruptive innovation all the time, and where you think about companies like, you know, like Ford, and prior to the car being accessible to the masses, horse and buggy ruled, right? And I mean, cars existed well before cars became mainstream. They were just afforded by only the rich people. And so cars didn't disrupt horse and buggy until the Model T car came to be.
Yeah.
And so when the Model T car came, then everyone can afford them. And so they were able to eliminate and disrupt the horse and buggy category. And so it's the same thing. I think it'll just take a second. Like, the reason why Toto hasn't been able to really penetrate the U.S. market, except for rich people, is because it's too expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so until it becomes accessible to the
and
masses,
you have to
which
own
is
your
what our-
home to put in a toilet like
that's
that.
what I was getting to.
Yeah.
Like,
That's it.
I mean, I'm all for like spending money where it should be spent, but unless I own my apartment, like, I just don't want to
That's
deal
what I'm
with like
saying.
all the
That's what I'm
installation.
saying,
And it's
yeah.
like you said, it's not that accessible where I can just. It's a quick thing. It's like
He's
it's
like,
an investment.
thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
You have to consider. It's like you save up for it versus like a $600 product. I'm like, I went out and accidentally spent like $200 on a shirt, you know, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
I could do that.
Yeah.
So, but someday,
Yeah.
someday soon.
And because of the tushy, did you notice like more people are coming to you about poop stories or poop everything?
God.
Like,
Everyone.
since we started this podcast, everybody's like, I got a story for you.
You're like, oh, great. That's awesome. I mean, yeah, and I love it because it's like, I'm clearly in the business, and so because I'm passionate about really
Yeah.
spreading the gospel around it. So people are like, you guys have no idea. You made my day. You were like, I get it. I have what I can't change. My life is like not the same without it. And it's just like, yes, because it's true. Like, you guys get it because you own it. You understand the experience of it and how much cleaner you feel, which means you're confident, which means you can attack more things confidently, which means it really starts somewhere.
Yes.
And so I think that it's just really, really fun to know that you guys both have
Yeah.
them and both are sort of.
It's
like,
a small, simple thing
supporters
that
of
really does affect your mood.
Right?
And it's just like, you don't have to think about it. I go to the bathroom and I'm done. I'm not like, oh my God, this is going to be a thing. Yeah, I mean, again, I can't say enough. Great
Has
things about
anybody
it.
come to you with a story though that you remember that you want to share with us? That is, We love secondhand stories. We love anything.
I mean, there's so many, but one of them that always sticks out is a story of this woman who basically wrote a feedback comment on our website just talking about Tushy, and she said, I went to Vegas and I was so excited to like be alone and be without my kids and just like have some me time. And then she was like, I realized I didn't miss my kids, miss my Tushy. And we were like, yes.
Yeah.
And it was like that. Those kinds of stories just kept coming up over and over again. And we're just like, didn't miss this, miss my Tushy. I mean, that's a campaign right there.
Yeah, 100%.
No, I mean, it should be, because I miss mine every time we were in Puerto Rico, and they're like no paper products in the toilet paper of any kind.
Wow.
It was in Rincon, and that's where we got married, like on the beach there. And I don't remember that the last time we were there, but every place we went to, and I'm like, I wasn't used to that, but also the TP was like it was like almost like see-through. Like you had to use like
Right,
I mean like
right,
so
right,
many
right,
like
right.
But it was just like I was like, this place needs a fucking Tushy so bad.
Oh no, I've been trying to bring it to Tulum. Been trying to bring it to Mexico City. I mean, like all these places have these gorgeous boutique hotels on the beach, and yet the minute you step into the bathroom, you have to wipe and throw the poopy toilet paper into the garbage
It's crazy.
can. And it sucks. And every one of them needs it. And I'm like, if you just brought a Tushy in your hotel rooms, you have 10 of them. Put Tushy in there and upgrade your experience and make it. We'll match your colors. We'll match everything you need.
Yeah,
it's $69, even if at full price. But we're still willing to give you a big discount because like whatever.
You buy a bunch of them.
You can buy. I mean, if it's 10 of them, whatever. Like just buy whatever. We want to support the movement and build a movement.
Yeah.
And they're just still like really like, oh, we'll get to it for that. And I'm like, you're gonna save. You know how much money you spend on plumbing and on all this shit, like. People just are just so blinded by their own.
Well, we've talked about like if Tushy was in every bathroom, like a public bathroom, would I use it? I don't know if I would.
Agreed.
But a place like a hotel, like I talk about like when I go to a public bathroom, I always squat, I hover.
Same.
But if I'm at my friend's house or a hotel, I sit down.
Of course.
So
And if you're paying for a luxe experience,
no,
like the thought of like putting it in a trash can next to you, that's what's laughable about it. You're like, this is so much. This matches your brand.
100%. 100%.
Is there anything else, Miki, you want to share with us, and then we can go into our next segment? Or
is
there any other products that you like to use when you make number 2?
Yeah, I mean, we're launching a stool.
Ooh.
As well, which is going to be like a rival to Swati Potty, and it's the most primo, beautiful, like designer stool you've ever seen. That just will turn your bathroom into like, I'll show you a picture of it.
Yeah.
I don't have a squatty potty.
I love my squatty.
So I have to that's my next little upgrade.
The only thing is, as soon as I installed the Tushy, I realized that you can't have your feet up on the squatty potty and do the Tushy at the same time because your butthole's in the wrong place.
Right,
so you have to do one at a time.
That's really funny. I mean, or you could just move your Tushy over.
Yes.
Bit. Yeah.
Readjustments.
Yeah, it's like, but that takes time and it's like a two thing. So I get it. Yeah.
Right,
but
cool.
it's so obvious when my boyfriend's used the Tushy because the little button has moved, so his butthole's obviously in a different place than mine.
So he knows the nozzle work. Good. The nozzle
I'm like, why is it shooting me in the wrong place?
God, that's so funny.
Amazing.
Should we get into Let's Get Shitty?
Sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for Let's Get Shitty.
How you doing over there?
No, I'm good. I'm great. I'm going to do this, but I'm going to sound drunk.
Oh, it's okay.
Tell you better.
I mean, we've probably done a couple episodes maybe not tipsy. But anyway, Let's Get Shitty.
Yeah.
This is our segment that, and it could be anything. It doesn't have to be like about poop related stuff, but
you just complain about the stuff that annoys you.
Yeah. So, Ellen, do you want to go first?
I'm trying to actually think. I've been having a really good weekend and stuff, so I'm trying to think if I've had anything that's a shitty moment. I did get vaccinated for measles and mumps and rubella because I did not have the immunity to it on Friday, and I was very thankful that I did not break out into a rash like they told me I would.
That's good.
Because of the measles outbreak in Williamsburg.
Right, no, there's like how many cases? Like
over 400.
Yeah,
no.
it's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, the mayor issued a health warning.
Yep.
And so they're also talking about possibly.
And it's in
all the Hasidic community.
Yeah. But if they're on the subway and they cough.
I know.
It lasts up to 48 hours, the germs of measles. 48 hours. So anything public that they cough on, we're screwed.
Yeah.
So because I was born in the 70s, I read that 70s babies got very little of the vaccine because they were like, oh, they gave too much of it in the 50s and 60s, and then they gave more to kids in the 80s and stuff. So I went to my doctor and I was like, should I get tested? And she's like, yeah, we'll test your blood first to see if you have the immunity. And when it came back, she was like, I can't believe you have no immunity. It's like I never got vaccinated. But I found out through a friend of mine who works at a hospital that it lasts up to 20 years and it's totally okay to get a booster shot. And so I got that.
I should, now you get me all nervous because I called my doctor.
I know. I'm like, I should call my doctor too.
Well, I called my doctor.
It's a $25 blood test
Yeah.
to test to see if you have the immunity. I have friends who did the test and they got back that they did have the immunity and they were fine.
Okay.
So, but my doctor was
acidics are so fucking like. I mean, like it's just like they're putting other people at risk.
yes. No, any anti-vaxxer.
It's like religion a lot of times too with the whole specific things. That's what gets me because it's like, well, okay, that's your life.
Yeah,
I get it, but
it's other people at
you're
risk.
putting it exactly. It's a health risk for the general public, but
400.
Yeah.
it's probably more than that,
My sister
right?
has a baby who's under 3 months, and so she can't vaccinate for a long time.
Yeah.
So she's so scared leaving the
Yeah.
freaking
Yeah.
house.
She should be. I mean, it's just like that's a crazy thing. I mean, I don't have children, but that would be my first priority right there.
But that's the thing. That's the reason why you vaccinate, not just for you, but for your community. You work with the community. But I do have something to complain about. So my doctor called me last Tuesday and was like, you need to get this shot. And I was like, holy shit. And so I called them because she left me a message and I called them and I was like, hey, so what do I have to do? And they were like, oh, we just have to order it for you. We've ordered it and just come between 1 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. on Friday. And I was like, okay. So I showed up at 4 o'clock and the lady at the desk was like, oh no, you're late. We can't help you. And I go, I spoke on the phone and they said up till 4:30. I'm here at 4 o'clock. And she was like, well, everybody went home. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Why did I come all the way here? Like, don't tell me this misinformation. And then finally she was like, oh, the doctor will actually do it to you. And so my doctor came in and she was like, I'll just give you the shot. The nurse isn't here. And I was like, really? I was like, I don't want to get this vaccination. I'm doing it so I don't get measles.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Well,
but yeah,
I'm glad you're better.
I am vaccinated.
Precautionary measures. I mean, that's like really. I mean, impressed.
my doctor's assistant. I didn't talk to my doctor, but I made an appointment for a physical in June or next couple weeks. But anyway, he had told me that he's like, did you go to college? I'm like, yes. He's like, then you probably. That's what he told me.
Yeah.
He's like, if you went to college,
you did go to college almost 20 years ago, right?
So that's the thing. I should probably but he was like, look, you should be fine. That said, he's like, we could take a look when you come in June. But he's like,
just test your immunity.
I mean, I looked at luckily, I have all my blood work online, which is kind of crazy.
Wow.
So you can see all that stuff.
Oh, that's good.
And I think I had a booster for chickenpox, like 6. I've never had chickenpox, so I had to get that and a shingles vaccine at the same time, which was not fun. Oof. But anyway, I'm glad you're feeling better.
Yeah.
And
well, and I know the good news is I did not get any side effects.
That's what I meant.
Which I'm really excited about, but it was annoying just to go through the whole ordeal.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah.
Freaking. I'm 41 years old and I'm vaccinating like I'm a newborn.
You look amazing.
Thank you. Good creams.
Wow. You guys are.
I'm 46, so
No.
I'm like, yes, I am 46 years old. I just can't believe I said it out loud because I'm like, oh my god, that's pretty old. But
literally look 23.
oh my, thank you. I just shaved too. I had a beard for like 2 years.
You look so young.
So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's weird, but
Wow.
yes. Aging. Ugh. Anyway,
Wow.
Do you have anything to talk about?
you know, I was having a struggle with this too. I mean, actually, I had a pretty amazing weekend, and there was nothing really to complain about that I can think of off the top of my head.
That's good.
Which
you don't have
which
to.
is very rare for me. I used to have something to complain about all the time.
Well, bless you. Bless you. Yeah, it's great. When
I mean, besides the general, like, what's going on in the world stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
We kind of all know what's going on with that. But
I can't wait to complain about my boyfriend stealing my travel tushy.
that's so
that'll
good.
definitely happen.
That's so good.
But nothing really. I mean, everything's been pretty good. My neighbors have actually been pretty quiet.
Oh, he complains about his
I
neighbors
have a
all
neighbor
the
with
time.
a 3-year-old, and she the mother is a famous singer.
Oh God.
And I mean, she's famous like in everywhere outside of the U.S., I guess. But
Right.
she we've had words with them before with their kids, and I get it, they're children, but 1:30 in the morning, I don't know, maybe like your kid isn't gonna be throwing like toys like from wherever like, to the floor, like I mean all night. It's crazy. 1:30, 2:30 once at one night, like in the morning. And I'm like, when's this kid go to bed? And you know, we've talked to them, and they've just kind of been like, well, you know, we can't really do anything.
Yeah, that's no fun.
So anyway,
That's no fun.
but yeah, I think I'm good with the.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Mickey, do you want to complain about your jet lag?
Yeah, I'm
Mickey
like
looks really high right now.
I feel I've literally I don't think I've experienced jet lag like this in my entire life. Like
Yeah.
I also haven't traveled somewhere for 3 weeks. It's so the opposite time zone
Yes.
Yep.
of my body, and so I also did wake up at like 5 o'clock to go to Daybreaker to dance my sister's party. So I'm pretty tired, but it's just more like I literally like it's like I'm so engaged in this conversation. Like I'm so happy to be here, and yet my eyelids like, and I'm like doing all like this sort of like the mental work where you're like what happens when you're alert? Like what color do you see when you're alert? Like I'm doing all these things, but it's just like I'm like,
Well,
oh
the
my
good
God,
news is we're almost there. We're to the finish line.
well, so that, yeah, I mean, I think that's the main thing I want to complain about. I mean, like, you know, like I do have, like, you know, I'm dealing with a friend right now that I'm, you know, like we're in a bit of a kerfuffle right now. But that's not, you know, that's kind of always a little challenging when you're like dealing with like a friend thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's always like, you know, but like complaining, like the way I think about it is that you like what emerges is like you learn a lot about your friends when you go through something.
Oh, yes.
But it's a good thing in the end because you actually can deepen after the
And sometimes you get a little closer.
yeah,
And you kind of figure out like what's the sort of the block.
yeah. But you know, I mean, it's like sometimes you're just like, wow, it does feel a little like I like, you know, you don't think that by the time you get to your 40, like when you're 40,
Yeah.
you're just like dealing with like, you know, like with emotional, like
Oh, yeah.
childlike, you know, behaviors, and you're just like,
It's like
all right.
when it hits you, you're kind of like, wait a minute, I haven't felt this in
God,
in
I'm just like
a couple
I could
decades.
yeah. So no, but it's just I think it's the human experience, and we just have to understand that it doesn't matter if you're a baby or an old person. Like you
Yeah.
still have feelings.
Yes.
Like how do you
And
deal with
so
it?
How do you deal
kind
with
of.
them? Yeah. So that's
I've been there.
I guess I'm
But
slightly complaining.
You can learn from them, and I always say go to where it's warm. So if your friend's not being warm, remove yourself and go to the warm people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah,
Yeah, that's good. I like that. That's
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah.
that's what I learned.
Cool.
I like that. Yeah.
Well, shall we get in some news?
Yeah, let's flush those problems down the
Oh
bowl
yeah, right. I
first.
almost forget.
I like to cathartically flush them away.
I
Yeah.
love that.
Right?
It's a cleansing.
I love that.
We actually learned from one of our last guests then, and I've been trying to do it, but sometimes when you're sitting on the toilet pinching a loaf, you're only pinching the loaf.
Yes.
But she was like, you should put good intentions every time you poo. So every time I poo, I think about what positivity I want in my
love
life,
that.
and I'm getting rid of literal negativity down the toilet.
I love that.
Right?
Yeah.
That's cool. It's
Especially like you're spending a couple minutes in the
unintentional
bathroom.
Experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like releasing the bad and taking in the good, creating space. You're actually creating space for good.
100%.
Yeah, I love that. I
And
love
then,
that.
yeah, so we've been trying to do that. Good intentions while pooing, especially it's a very meditative state.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
It's a fun thing.
So let's talk about news.
Yes. It's a funny short story.
Oh my God, yeah.
Breaking news with our breaking wind.
Yes.
This article. Well, I'll wait till the best part of this is coming up right here. Hold on.
It's like 70s news.
Almost there. So, I love that. This is a really funny story. A man in Taiwan had swallowed his Apple AirPod headphones.
I saw this.
Now, the only thing that's annoying about this article, it doesn't tell me like why he swallowed it or how he swallowed it. He just found out that he had swallowed it, had gone to sleep, Woke up the next morning. I guess maybe he ate it in his sleep or something. It doesn't say like how he ate it. It just like he swallowed an AirPod.
Which is big. It's
is
bigger
pretty
than
big.
a pill.
It's big enough where you should know it. That's not like, it's not food. But anyway, I mean, his sort of like, bad luck is our really funny story. But he woke up the next morning, couldn't find his other AirPod. And then basically he did the little sort of like find my phone thing for it. And he heard the sound, but he didn't know where it was coming from.
Oh, God.
And he kept... Yes, he's walking around. After he listened carefully, he discovered the sound was actually coming from inside him. And he realized he had swallowed his AirPod.
It's amazing that could work.
He said he swallowed it in his sleep.
But that's
which
amazing
I think
that
I'm calling bullshit on that.
That it still works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Went to the doctor to explain his predicament. The doctor performed an x-ray on him and discovered that the AirPod was indeed inside his digestive system. They gave him some laxatives and just basically told him to pay attention, to his feces. And to his surprise, the AirPod functioned well after this arduous journey through the man's name was Zhu, digestive system. I mean, that's crazy. And there's a photo on the there is a photo of his face. He's all like, it's all blurred out, and you can see like a little iPod, like a little brown.
Ew.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
We will share this on the Instagram.
It
Hey
is
Poopy
horrific.
Podcast.
There's an x-ray. I mean, he went to the doctor. He's like, yeah, man, you swallowed your AirPod.
That's amazing that it still worked.
Yeah.
Wow. That
I mean,
You would think bile would destroy it, but
that would be a funny Apple ad. He's like, our AirPods are tested. We go through like
our bodies are magical.
they are.
it's crazy. He didn't feel any discomfort, and it was removed within 2 days.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, that's actually
They
a
said-
long time to pass.
Well, they were saying that like they had to do that because the battery could damage his intestines
Ooh.
if they
Oh,
didn't
God.
if it didn't pass soon enough. They would have probably gone
Right.
like operate.
Yeah.
But the doctor was like, I'd never seen anything like this before. It's the first time for me.
oh my God.
But yeah, swallowed his AirPod, pooped it out, and then it still worked.
So funny.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Disgusting, but funny.
This is hilarious.
On that note, though,
Yeah. Miki, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Oh my
but
God.
Mostly, thank you for inventing our favorite product.
yes.
And I just want to add my favorite thing about the Tushy, besides the obvious of my clean butthole. I do love when the water goes a little bit up inside me and I cough it out because I feel like I'm really cleaning. I'm really cleaning out my insides.
like a power wash.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and for those listening, it doesn't have to do that.
No.
Yeah.
But when it happens to me, it doesn't happen all the time.
That's like Ellen's little favorite
Yeah,
thing.
I'm
she
always
likes
like,
that when that
it's like a
happens.
little extra.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I like it. I like a good clean.
Yeah, I describe it as like a water pick for your.
Yeah.
When you water pick the stuff between your teeth, it's like that for your
Oh,
butthole.
I like that.
Right?
Like, I love that.
Just irrigates.
Amazing. And what's the code again they gave you for?
Hey Poopy
Yeah, so go to HelloTushy.com and then use the code Hey Poopy with
for
a Y.
10% off. And we made a little promo. I made a recorded one for a couple of the episodes.
Oh, amazing.
And we talk about don't be a dry wiper. Use Hello Tushy.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
really.
good.
Yeah.
I mean, again, thank you too, because like it's changed my life in the sense where just I don't have to think about like bathroom issues.
Amazing.
And it just really does.
No,
like,
I had a friend who had an anal fissure and it went away after he bought a Tushy.
Yeah, my boyfriend said that he, after being in a hotel for a weekend, he felt his hemorrhoid come back, came back home, Tushy made it go away.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's like a win-win-win situation.
Yeah.
it's a very simple, elegant design, and the fact that like it just really changes your attitude how you approach the bathroom.
Oh, the only question I have for design is I have a friend of mine who really wants one, but the wall is right next to. If there's any way that they can get it to go,
Yeah, I know, we're working on one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
the opposite side. Yeah.
I'm excited for all the new products.
Oh my God.
I mean, the
travel
thing sounds
Tushy.
great. The travel Tushy.
We
I
have
can't wait to get.
we have organic bamboo toilet paper on subscription. So if you have to pat dry with a little bit of toilet paper, you might as well get a tree-free version of it, where you're not cutting down 100-year-old trees, but you're cutting down bamboo.
That grows back really quick.
Grows up to 39 inches per day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And so it's the most sustainable toilet paper in the market, and you can check it out at HelloTushy.com as well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Wow, this is like, I'm learning all these new things. You guys
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
Awesome.
so much.
I'm so
buttholes,
happy to
thank
be here.
you.
I one day if I come back on your podcast, I will be
Anytime.
extra effervescent.
Oh,
because
the
I
next
won't
time
be-
you come up with a new product, we are welcoming you back. Talk
Great.
all about
Yeah.
it,
Done.
please.
We love new
Amazing.
things,
Yeah.
especially when it involves the butt.
I love this podcast. It's right up our alley.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, this is great.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Happy pooping, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to Shooting the Shit. We are on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Please rate, review, download. It really helps to get more listeners. Plus, tell all your friends about us. And
For more about Shooting the Shit with Dave and Ellen, you can check us out at heypoopypodcast.com. For questions, product reviews, information, please email us at heypoopypodcast@gmail.com. And you can see us on Instagram at heypoopypodcast.
theme song by Jordan Pearlson. Hey, Poopy.
Oh, that one's gross.
Very wet.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Hey Poopy, how you doing? Hey Poopy, how you doing?
I'm just, trying to find a place with like-minded people to talk about like-minded things about me, about poop and stuff.
Hey Poopy, how you doing? Hey Poopy, how you doing?
Oh man, what's this right here? Is this a podcast about poop?